Hey guys, what's up? Steve here. I'm just sitting here chilling today, right? I'm just relaxing, getting to midnight, getting ready to finish everything up. Probably going to go to sleep soon. Boom, get a message on my phone. Like I normally do. Don't mind getting messages. Someone asked me a question. What's the question, you may ask? Well, the question is, Steve, how do you determine Pokemon card values? Now, it doesn't have to just be Pokemon cards. It doesn't even have to be cards. It could just be literally anything. And I'm just like, hey man, it's easy, what are you looking for? English cards, go on Troll and Toad. Or Japanese cards, try eBay. And they're just like, no. How do you? Like, how do I? How do you come up in your head with all these cards? And some cards you rate higher, some cards you rate lower. And then we got really into it. Because it wasn't just like a how do you value a Pokemon card, like the monetary value. It was like, how do you value it for, like, as a business or as a seller? Why do I wear a white shirt today? What? I look like an idiot next to the whiteboard. Yeah, how do you value something with your money? If you only have $100 to spend, something is going to be probably more valuable than if you have $100,000 to spend. You can probably make less valuable purchases than the person that only has 100. If they're trying to sell or if they're trying to collect, they want to get the most bang out of their buck. So, I guess where do we start, right? I mean, my brain's ticking. It's going everywhere with this question. So, Pokemon card values. So let's just spitball some keywords, right? Looking for keywords. Nothing too crazy. Looking for keywords. Top of my head, I come up with rarity, right? Okay, well, how rare it is. Rarity. I almost misspelled the word rarity. That's actually hilarious. That proves how late it is. So, there's rarity. How rare a card is. You get in the newest sets, the rarest cards are always the most expensive. But I'm like, oh, wait a second. Aren't most of the rare cards in the newest sets the same rarities? But it can be like one secret rare or secret art rare could be $200, and then another one could be $20. But they're both secret art rares. So it's just not rarity, right? Theoretically. If I'm thinking right, because if it was rarity, they'd all be the same price. But no, it's desirability. If I misspell a word, don't get mad at me. Desirability. I'm gonna let me just spell check that one real quick before we have to redo the whole video. Okay, desirability. Oh, it's an E. It's not an E, it's an I. Desirability. Man, this is why you should go to school, get educated. You're not going to end up like me. So we've got desirability, rarity. What else is there? So it has to be desirable. So what does that mean, desirable? Does it have to be a certain card? Like, some trainer cards are secret art rares and they're nowhere near expensive. So is it like a certain Pokemon? So maybe, we can put species up there, because we all know Charizards are always going to be more expensive than the average Joe Rhydon, Rhyhorn, Tangela, Onyx. I mean, Onyx is pretty cool. So when we think about that, we got rarity, species, it's very important, desirability. What does this mean? So when the spectrum of collecting, at least the Pokemon cards, is like, how far low can I go? Here, right? So we've got 0, and we're almost 30, around here, right? That's where we are. So this is years. So we're at 0 years here, we're at 30 years. So we're around here, 27, 28, some shit like that. So sometimes a card can have desirability now. It could be very playable, and very playable cards, high demand, can make the value go up. I guess everyone can understand that, right? Maybe the set is expensive. So if we think, what's the most popular card right now? The Umbreon VMAX. That's a pretty popular card of the English version and the Japanese version. They're both expensive, and the sets are both expensive. That makes sense, right? But then you think about it, the box is expensive. So, we put it here, booster box. The booster box is expensive, so the card is expensive. Even though the other secret rares in the set aren't up to par, but some of them, booster box expensive, card expensive. I think we can all kind of agree. But then you have base set holographics that not in the best condition, even near mint ones, are like $10, $12, $15. Fossil set holographics, near mint on Troll and Toad, you probably pick up some for $10, $15, $20. Even the best ones might even be $60, $70 on unlimited, but the packs are $200, $300. So then you think to yourself, how come, is it always? You know? And then it gets to this. Gradability. You know, some of those older cards, they're less expensive in raw condition, but more expensive in the highest grade. But some of the newer cards, because they're better condition, fresh out of the packs, the high grade variant and the low, well, the not low, but the raw near mint / gem mint copies that aren't graded yet, they have a closer price range, right? So gradability, is the booster box expensive? Desirability, rarity, species. What else? Spitball with me. If I'm missing something, throw it in the comment. But we've got to think to ourselves, how much, or like what determines the value? Because it's not every single thing, right? Because, you know, when I sell cards that are $1 and I sell cards that are $500. I sell cards that are $5,000. There are different levels of collecting, but some cards don't have to be $500, and some cards never even have to be graded. I mean, what did I sell today? I think someone bought like 47 trainer cards from our single store today. 2 separate eBay orders. It's amazing, right? Feels good to sell something like that. But those cards never probably would ever be graded ever, because people need them for set collecting. So, you know, some cards are made for sets. So what determines the value? So when I'm buying something, when I'm buying a collection, I'm looking over the collection. Okay. Well, when I'm allocating my funds, because really you're just allocating a resource. When I'm putting my funds into a purchase, what am I looking for? I'm looking for stuff that can hit a bunch of these. I'm looking for as many cards as possible that can hit all of these features. Now, I just bought a collection recently. I'm just going to go grab it. It's over there. So, I'm dropping. Oh, running into stuff. So here, I just made some videos on this earlier in the week. We have base set, right? And then some fossil holographics here. Here's what I'm talking about. When you talk about species, rarity, desirability, all of these base set holos, apart from a champ and maybe some of the theme deck ones, they all have the same rarity, but desirability, Charizard, Blastoise, you know, Venusaur, they're much more desirable. Oh, Jesus Christ. Much more desirable, so they're more expensive. These are all pretty expensive in high grade, because the gradability, if they're, you know, in PSA 10, some of these can be in the thousands. The booster box is 15, 20,000 for a base set booster box. These things all these go into the higher grade variants, but on the low grade, not too much. But there's always going to be a buyer for Hitmonchan, Machamp, Magneton. These little guys no one really cares about. Beedrill, Dragonair's a very popular one. They're good for sets. And then species collectors. It's really not talked about as much, just in general, of how many species collectors there really are. As someone who has, I don't know how many cards we have listed, maybe 35,000 individual cards. I'd probably say 30% of our orders are people buying the same Pokemon or the same sort of, I guess, another word I could throw up here is variants, maybe? Variants? So people buy evolutions together. So when I'm determining, sorry about that, my camera turned off while filming. How good's that? We got blunders already at midnight. How great is that? Where was I? So we talked about evolution, variants, a lot of people buying cards that are, you know, within the same frame. So let's zoom out a little bit. Let's go back to the original question. How do you find the value of Pokemon cards? It's not as easy as, like, you know, everyone knows how to find the value of a Pokemon card. eBay sold listing, Troll and Toad, PSA registry, all that kind of stuff. And that's not what I'm trying to talk about here. It's more of like, how do I find value in a Pokemon card? Or maybe even how do I find value in a Pokemon card collection? It goes a little bit more deep. So I'm going to use this as an example again. This old school kind of collection, how do I phrase this to be the most easy? This cost me $5,000, right? And normally, I wouldn't buy this collection. But, let me put this word. It's horrible writing, but it says timing. I don't know if you can read that. Timing. We're 2 months out from Christmas. And everyone around Christmas time, they have a little bit more money to spend. And people my age really love old Pokemon cards. So they will probably sell faster during Christmas compared to other times of the year. Not just, this is still a good thing to buy any time of the year, and it never goes out of fashion. And Christmas always will roll around. Whether I'm still alive, you're still alive, Christmas will always be here. Probably, seemingly forever. If the elites control us enough. Oh, God. So I normally wouldn't, spring on a collection like this and get it processed as fast as possible, but Christmas is coming up. I want to get all this ready to go before Christmas hits. Christmas will hit, it'll likely all sell, and it'll be done and dusted. So I found more value in buying this collection compared to maybe buying 200 copies of the same card that I could grade and sell slowly over time. Put maybe like 200 cards at $10 each at $2,000 to grade 200 cards, probably cost another $3,000, give or take whichever currency you want. I could probably do that instead, but selling one card over and over and over again that might be towards the end of its like desirability cycle, and then it just goes to being like maybe a $5 to $10 profit PSA 10 long term. I hate talking long term and all sort of stuff, but I hope you know what I'm trying to say. So sometimes timing is really important. Maybe you're buying some stuff and there's a collecticon coming up, or maybe you're collecting and you have money to spend, but instead of looking online finding the stuff you want, you could wait for the collecticon, and then you can go in person, and then you can see what everyone has, and then you can use all these things to calculate before you get there. Like, okay, I know that the booster box for the card that I want is quite expensive. I know that it's really hard to grade. There's not that many tents. What else are we looking for? I know that it's a pretty hard species. Let's say you want a gold star. A gold star is a certain subtype of a species, I guess. So all these other things, the gold star is likely going to be expensive. The better condition it is, it's going to be more expensive. So where in the condition are you willing to find your price? And there's always overlaps in value. So like you can get a card that's like 10. This isn't exact. And then you can go 9, 400, 8, maybe less, to be honest, maybe 250, 7, 150, and then, there's not much data lower, because people might not grade the card. But honestly, a card like this comes to mind is Stormfront Charizard, the Japanese Stormfront Charizard. Stormfront box is quite an expensive box. The Charizard is a pretty hard card to get in the set. It's not as rare as Charmander or Charmeleon, because they all have the same rarity, right? But it's more expensive than Charmander and Charmeleon. We're using our thought process. I'm talking about Japanese Stormfront, by the way. So, I forgot what it's called. Intense Destroy. Oh, is this not? I actually don't even know what the set name's called right now. So this is pretty much mimics. So like, where's the best value? As a seller, do you choose to grade a card that's near mint to mint, and you're going to take all the grading fees or whatever, and then you're going to take the fees off, and you're going to wait like 2 months, and then you reverse it, we back it up, and you're the buyer now, and okay, I can already see some ones graded 8 for 250, but I could buy the raw copy for 150, but is it better value just to guarantee an 8 for a little bit more? You can kind of like reverse psychology depending on which side of the fence you're on. So, how do you find value, or how to find the value of a Pokemon card? It's kind of just going through this process over and over again. And when you're buying a set or you're buying a collection, you just look at pretty much every card. A lot of them fall into like one category, right? A lot of it just come into sets. You got a lot of bulk. It's $1, $2, $3. It'll sell slowly over time. Slowly but surely, everyone's always collecting sets. It'll probably never stop. And if it does stop, the cards become cheaper, right? So if no one collects sets, cards go down. They flatline. People go, wow, those sets are really cheap to collect. Cards go up. Maybe a little bit of timing thing. Maybe you notice that some cards don't sell as well. Other sellers are trying to dump their stuff. Maybe as a buyer, there's one set that you're really good at. One set of species that you're really good at. You know how desirable they are because you're the one also looking for them you're in that space. What can I use it as an example? When you get to that level, you're trying to look for something that's not really mass produced. Let's use the English Black Star promo set as an example, right? There's 53 cards. 53? 53 cards plus Ancient Mew. It's not really counted, but it is counted. There's cards in there that there's literally millions and millions of copies. There are also cards in that Black Star promo set but there's not millions of copies. And what happens to the ones that have millions of copies? They're more expensive. What about the ones that do have millions of copies? They're always going to be valuable or have a certain amount of value tied to them because they're a part of a set. Okay, what about the expensive ones? How gradable are they? You know, there's the Venusaur Black Star 13. Is it 13? It's been a while. Pretty sure it's 13. That card is damn expensive in PSA 10. You would be very, very surprised. What are they, 10 grand, 20 grand? I don't even know what the last ones sell for. They don't come in a booster box. Not really. Really, I mean, it's more about, instead of booster box for that set, it's more about release date, release type. How is it given out? You got the New York Pokemon Center promos. 40 and 41. Pokemon Tower and Pokemon Center. Is that it? Pokemon Center and Lucky Stadium. I think that's it. Oh, it's been a while. It's been a while. Anyway, you got other ones. You got the Legendary Bird promos. There's millions of them. You got Jungle or Bumblebee Pikachu. There's millions of them. But you know, but it doesn't matter because you got the Black Star promo set. Even if you buy some of those Black Star promo Pikachus, and you know, I don't really have any here, but I have my own Black Star, you know, birthday Pikachu, because the birthday Pikachu and the serving Pikachu, and I guess the flying Pikachu for me personally, was some of the first big deals I ever did. I saw a lot of value in those Pikachu promos because they're very desirable and they sold quite easy. And I bought like maybe 500 to 600 of each Pikachu and then like 100 birthday Pikachus back in the day, like 2015, 2016. And I sold them all for like 10x the price because I bought 600 at 20 cents each and I sold them for $5, $6, $7. And you'd be surprised, those tiny little amounts. $5 profit every time. Like, it blew me out of the water. It made me pretty much what I am today going in because I saw value in those Black Star promos. I'm using it as a pretty good example right now. So even if you're in the promos, it doesn't matter. Not everyone has to collect the set. Some people just want Pikachu. Some people just want Mew. Some people just want whatever else is in there. Pikachu, Mew. The legendary birds, I guess. Some people just want those. All the species. That's what I'm trying to say. It's an extremely hard concept to like wrap your head around because obviously it's all in my head, and whenever I see something, I can go, oh, I can see that being a higher price in the future, judging on how hard it is to get, you know, how many people might be getting it, how many might be selling, how hard it is to grade. I can see if I find one of those in mint condition, I can try and grade it because not many 10s are coming up. The pop report's not updating. And obviously all this stuff takes time. And that's probably, it's a little bit different to timing, but sometimes the value of a Pokemon card just takes time. As a seller, you know, I might be giving away too much here, but I have some cards on the shelf that have been sitting for 2 years. Is that a big deal? I mean, it depends on how you set up your store. I was about to pull out an example. I can't see anything, but it's like, what do I got here? There we go. Great example. Great example. I don't know why these are here. These should be sent off to grading, but I've been a bit lazy, okay? I've been a bit lazy. These are Poncho Pikachus. These are probably some of the most desirable, whatever, promo Pikachu cards ever released. I have no real rush in selling these because they pretty much have all this. Every single one of these factors. Instead of booster box, but even then they have a promo box. It's very hard to get. That's the only way to get the thing. So it's pretty much the same thing. I have no desire to sell these as fast as possible unless I needed money fast to sell them and then buy more stuff for the business. That's obviously very important. It depends on where you're at, but that kind of stuff, I'm happy to sit on that for as long as possible, and time will pretty much just do its thing. If it's missing some of these, or maybe I paid way too much, time will do its thing. I've seen people back in the day Pay like $300 for a PSA 10 Rayquaza Poncho, and they're like, "Whoa, I overpaid." And then I've seen people pay 6,000. Oh, I overpaid. And I'm saying, people buy black labels for 20,000 or whatever. It's just, and I'm not being that kind of guy. It's like, oh, the Pokemon always goes up, but it's just sometimes you just kind of know when things are just really hard to get. Everyone wants them. It's like a perfect storm. You basically, people are eating out of your feet. They're eating your feet, if that makes any sense. So this is my ramblings at midnight. How do I value a Pokemon card? Or how do I come up with the values in my head? If this didn't explain it well enough for you, feel free to let me know. I'll just do take two and we'll just make another video on it. If you want me to further elaborate on any of this stuff, guess I will. Oh, you didn't even see my extra 0 for the 1000. So my name's Steve. It's been one. It's been real. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask. I'm here just to help people, and I'm really tired, so I'm going to go to sleep. See you later.